Sandhan. All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Sandhan. Today we will discuss differentiability of functions of two variables. Myself, Professor Bailal Patel. With me we have Professor Neeraj Babaria. We both are from N.V. Patel College of Pure and Applied Sciences, Vallabh Vidyanagar. Now let us begin with function of one variable. As we know, a relation f from a to b is called a function of one variable if each element of a is uniquely associated with element of b. Here we know that a is called domain of the function and b is called codomain of the function f. Now let us define the range set. The set y belongs to b such that y equal to fx is called the range of the function. Now if f is from a to r, where r is the set of all real numbers, then function f is called real valued function, and here we will discuss only real valued functions, that is the value of function is in the real number set. Now let us define a function of two variables. A function f of two variables is a rule that assigns to each order pair of real number tuple xy, which is also known as order pair xy, in a set D, where D is a domain. Now we can associate a unique real number which we denote by f of x comma y. Now the set D is called domain, and its range is the set of values of f takes on the set, that is set of all f of xy, such that xy belongs to D. Now you can see we have generalized from one variable to two variables, and similarly we can generalize for three variables, four variables, and in general for several variables. But today we will restrict only up to two variables. Now we can write z equal to function of f of xy. Now you can see here f is depending on x and y. The variable x and y are called independent variables, and z is called dependent, that is depending on x and y. As in the case of one variable, we write y is a function of x, that is y is depending on x only on one variable. Here we have z is a function of two variables, that is z is depending on x and y. Now let us see geometrical meaning. You can see this shaded part is a domain D, and if you take any point inside the domain x comma y, then its image is on the real line. In the right hand side you can see the real line, and the image is f of xy. Similarly, if you take any point AB in a shaded region, then its image is going to be in the real number. That is, here function, it is from two dimension to one dimension. Its domain is in the two dimension, but its codomain, that is the range, is in one dimension, that is the real valued functions. Again you can see the domain of this function f of xy equal to square root of x plus y plus 1 divided by x minus 1. Now you see in the right hand side the graph geometrical meaning of this function. See, this denominator is defined all values except at x not equal to 1. So you can see x equal to one vertical line which is just parallel to y axis we have excluded, and you can see in the function square root of x plus y plus 1. Now because of square root it is defined for positive, so the line sliding line x plus y plus 1 equal to 0, the domain is the right hand side of that sliding line. Similarly, if you take this function f of xy equal to x log y square minus x, now we know that if y square equal to x, then it is log 0, which is not defined. So here we get x equal to y square, that is parabola, and that is excluded from the domain of this function, and all values are in the left hand side, that is the shaded blue color you can see in the right hand side picture. Now let us define a function f of two variables with domain D. The graph of function f is the set of all points triplet x, y, z in R3 such that z is equal to f of xy and these xy points are in the domain D. Now you can see the graph of this function. We have x axis, y axis, z axis and origin. Now in the xy plane, if you take any point x, y, 0, then you can see its image in the upper, that is x, y, f of xy. Right? So this image shaded part, bluish part, is known as the graph of the given function. Same way you can take this function gxy equal to square root of 9 minus x square minus y square. Now you can see the graph of this function is the semi hemisphere, which is denoted like this in a bluish shaded area. You can see here 3-dimension figure. Now let us define a function f of two variables whose domain D includes points arbitrarily close to AB. Now here close to AB means we are taking the neighborhood of point AB. Then we say that the limit of f of xy as xy tends to L or approaches to capital L. Then in symbol we write is this as limit of f of x comma y is equal to L as xy tends to AB. Now here you can see this is generalization of just one variable. In one variable we are defining limit as limit of f of x is equal to L as x tends to some variable a. So this is just, you can see, generalization from one variable to two variables, as we have generalized function also. So the definition of limit is also similarly generalized from one variable to two variable. Now the meaning of this symbol limit f of xy equal to L means what? Okay, if for every epsilon greater than 0, now you take epsilon is very small quantity, then there corresponds a number delta positive such that if you take any xy, that is any point belongs to domain, and 0 less than square root of x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square less than delta. Now what is this? Square root of x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square. It is actually the circular disc at the center AB and the radius is delta. Right? Now you can recall the neighborhood of point A in one variable. It is the a minus delta interval, open interval a minus delta comma a plus delta. In that case we got the interval only because it is in one variable. Now here we are in two variables, so we get a circular disc with center AB here and the radius is delta. Here you can see we have taken 0 less than because we are not considering the point A comma B. So you can say deleted neighborhood of point AB, deleted delta neighborhood of point AB. So you take any point xy in this neighborhood, then the mod of f of xy minus L less than epsilon. Now see, the limit, idea of limit is the nearness. That means if you in a domain, if you take any xy point near to point AB, then its image, that is in the codomain, the value of function f of xy is going to be near to some number, and that number is nothing but capital L. Now we can see the geometrical meaning. You can see the left hand side, we have taken x axis, y axis, that is in 2 dimension. Now you see that the circular part delta disc at center at AB. Now you take any point xy in that disc, then that image, because f is a function from the domain D to R, so right hand side is a real number, left hand side you can see is a 2 by 2 plane. So that image of point xy is going to be on the real line. Now because limit f of xy is equal to L, that image will be going to in the near to the point L, and that is in between L minus epsilon to L plus epsilon. So you can, if you take, so you can see the idea of nearness in this disc, that is the delta neighborhood of point AB, if you take any point in that disk or in that neighborhood, then its image, that is f of xy, is also in between L minus epsilon to L plus epsilon, that is in the near to L. So this is how we are writing limit of f of xy is equal to L. So meaning of this, geometrical meaning of this limit of xy equal to L is nothing but like this. So idea of nearness, if it is in domain, then it carries out in the codomain also. You can see again geometrical meaning of this diagram. You take x axis, y axis, z axis. Now on the xy plane, you take any delta neighborhood D, which we denote by D delta, center at AB. Now S is a surface, in three dimension. Then if you take any point in that delta neighborhood in the disk, then its image is going to be in between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. That is on the z axis. You can see in the diagram the limit L, capital L, is in between L minus epsilon and L plus epsilon. So this is how the limit, idea of limit, going to be from nearness, one nearness, that is nearness in the domain, to the nearness in the codomain. Same way, now let us take example. If you take limit of x minus xy plus 3 divided by x square y minus 5xy minus y cube. Now you take limit xy tends to 0, 1. Now here see, you can use the algebra of limits, that is limit of fraction, that is limit of f of x by gx. You can remember the one variable, limit of fx by gx can be written as limit of fx divided by limit of gx. So here you can also use the same thing. Here just you put x tends to 0 and y tends to 1 in this fraction, and if you calculate, you will get the finite limit, and that is the minus 3. Next, if you take limit of square root of x square plus y square, as xy is near to 3, minus 4, then again you can put here x equal to 3, y equal to minus 4, and if you simplify, it is 5. Now, so this is here in this above two examples, we have put limit direct. Now, how to find limit? By using the definition, that is definition of epsilon and delta. So let us take this example. Using definition, evaluate the following limit if exist, that is limit 4x y square divided by x square plus y square as xy approaches to 0, 0. Now here let us observe that along the line x equal to 0, now you can see line x is equal to 0 means y axis, the function always has the value 0 when y not equal to 0. You can put just x equal to 0 in this fraction. So in the numerator you can say 4 into 0 into y square, that is 0, and from the denominator you can say 0 plus y square, and that is going to be 0 if you consider y not equal to 0. And same thing you take along line y equal to 0, the function has 0 provided x not equal to 0. Again you can see if you put y equal to 0 in this fraction, then it will be going to be 0. But that condition x not equal to 0 should be that, otherwise if x equal to 0, then this is 0 by 0, and which is an indeterminate form. So if the limit does exist as xy approaches 0, 0, the value of the limit must be 0. Now let us calculate what should be the value. How to calculate? Now you can recall the definition of limit f of xy equal to L. It is for any epsilon there exists some delta. So let us start with epsilon positive. We want to find delta positive such that, now you can see, you can recall that modulus of f of xy. Now you can see what is f of xy is this fraction. So you can put just modulus of this 4x y square divided by x square plus y square minus L, capital L. Now here we have observed that limit going to be 0 if it exists. So we have put L equal to 0 less than epsilon whenever, if here also the deleted neighborhood of 0.00, right? You can see that deleted neighborhood of point AB. Now here a comma b is nothing but 0, 0. So So that is 0 less than x square plus y square less than delta. Or same thing can be written in this way. You can see if you remove this modulus, then it is 4 mod x y square divided by x square plus y square less than epsilon whenever 0 less than square root x square plus y square less than delta. Now we know that this y square is less than or equal to x square plus y square because all are positive quantity. So now you can just replace this y square in the above expression. So we get this thing 4 mod x y square divided by x square plus y square, and which is less than or equal to 4 mod x, because x square plus y square is cancelled out from numerator and denominator. Now this mod x can be written as square root of x square, and which is less than or equal to 4 into square root x square plus y square, because you know y square is less than or equal to x square plus y square. So if you choose delta equal to epsilon by 4, that means you see the delta value of delta is depending on epsilon. Then this 0 less than square root x square plus y square less than delta, and we get this thing mod of 4 x y square divided by x square plus y square minus 0 less than or equal to 4 square root x square plus y square less than 4 delta. Now you can put the value of delta, that is epsilon by 4, then that will be cancelled out, so you will get epsilon. So you can see we have started from epsilon and we got delta, that is depending on epsilon, because you see the value of delta is nothing but epsilon by 4. So here value of delta is depending on epsilon. If you change the epsilon, delta will be changed. So from the definition of limit, we get limit of 4x y square divided by x square plus y square as x y tends to 0 0 is going to be 0. So in this way we can find the value of limit by using the definition of epsilon and delta. Now let us state this result. You take